Hello students. Now the question is, how is phonology studied? So every language has an organized sound system. Exactly. Every language has an organized sound system. For example, Ram eats a mango. Here Ram is noun, verb and or object. So that is subject, verb and object. And in Hindi sentence, Ram आम खाता है. No doubt subject, that is noun is the subject, but then object, after subject object comes and verb goes at last. But in English sentence, subject is followed by verb and verb is followed by object. So there is, this is Hindi structure, sentence structure, subject, then object, then verb. In English, subject, then verb, then object. So that is the first line. Every language has an organized sound system. So that's a organized sound system in English and Hindi we have seen. Now, phonology is concerned with processes in the mind. So that is something about a processes. What processes are going in our mind? Determining the rules of a language and how we organize, study and form sounds in speech. So which is very important, how we organize different sounds and then the study and then form sounds in speech. So this is something that is, we can say that in other words, that how our mind accept the rules, generalize the rules and then how we speak, right? So that for the same text, if three people are speaking, so their sound will be different, right? So that study is called phonology. Okay, now we each have tacit knowledge of our native language. The tacit knowledge allows us to adhere to the rules of the relevant sound system. What's the knowledge which allows us adhere to the rules of the relevant sound system? We have to stick with the rules, right? We have to follow the rules. So when you know something without understanding how and why you came to know it, right? So when you know something without understanding, when we understand something but not fully, so when you know something without understanding how and why you came to know it, so that is uh, tacit knowledge. For example, if you were asked to make up a word, you would be more likely to say something like blonde, for example, rather than plough. This is because the understanding knowledge you have of English language tells you that two consonants such as for cannot appear next to each other at the end of the word, right? So word cannot be end with fw. So that is something which we have to know. That's a rule. Okay, now how to identify phonemes. So phonemes are the smallest sound units. We know that that's the smallest sound unit is called phonemes of a language. So the smallest sound unit is called phoneme, and that bears something bear meaning. So that smallest sound unit is meaning. Phonemes are constitutive, which means that they are meaningfully different. So phonemes are different, meaningfully different. Phonemes are said to be in contrastive distribution, that is, they occur in the same environment and cause a change in meaning. So what? Phonemes are said to be contrastive distribution, important constructive distribution, that is, they occur in the same environment and cause the change in meaning, and because of this meaning is change. Okay, now an example of two words that differ only in one phoneme is the word pet and met, right? So what's the example of two words that differ only one phoneme? So these two words are differ only one phoneme, p and m. The substitution of P and M creates two different words and mean different things. That is called minimal pair. Minimal pair because other two words are same 80-80 but P is different. That is called minimal pair. To be a minimal pair, the words must only differ in one phoneme occurring in the same place, right? So that's the same place but one phoneme is changed from one another, so that's the same place. And within the words, minimal pairs are a test for phoneme status. So from this example, because the substitution of p and m creates different words that differ in meaning. So different words and meaning is changed. They are different phonemes. The phoneme change could be a consonant or a vowel. So phoneme change could be a consonant or a vowel and can occur at any place in the word. And it can occur any place in the word. You can also get minimal sets where there are three or more words that differ by only one phoneme. For example, three or more words. For example, here B is common in all these words. B is common, right? Okay, B is common in all these words, but what's the change? IT, OT, ET, OOT, and EAT are pair of minimal set, means this is also common. B is common but other words are changed, right? So bit, bought, bet, boot, and beat, right? So that's the phonemes are written in slashes. For example, this is phoneme is written always in this slash, right? This notation shows the sounds as being underlying representations, which is the form of the sound that is stored in our mind. So that form, that what we can say that sounds being underlined representation, which is the form of sound that is stored. P, B, when we teach a young one, the small baby, P and T. So we teach this way only, right? This is P, right? And this is D. So when a child learns, so he learns that's a loop will come here and opposite in here. So this way he will be able to understand the difference of sound. That's a, this will be pronounced as P and this will be pronounced as D. So this is somewhat the study of phonology. Okay, now allophones is very important, as slashes are used to represent the underlying representations. We need a what's underline representation? This is the underline in case of different words. That's underline representation. I will tell you further. So that's we need a way of showing what sounds are actually produced. The surface form. This is done through the use of square bracket. So important thing is that we need a way way of showing what sounds are actually produced, the surface form, right? This is done through the square brackets. How we will see later on. Allophones are different realizations of a phoneme depending on where in the word is it occurs. So allophones are what? Different realizations of phonemes. Different realizations of phonemes depending on where in the word it occurs. Okay. To be allophones of a phoneme, the sounds must be in complementary distribution, which means that they occur in different environments within words. Allophones are phonetically similar to each other because they are different versions of the same sound. So this is actually the crux of the allophones. What is allophones are different versions of the same sound. That is called allophone. One example of allophones we can see here are the different productions of the phoneme T. However, in the letter, in a word, the letter T is used, but sound will be changed. How? This phoneme can be realized differently in different environments. So that phoneme is realized differently in different environment, right? How? Word initially T is produced as T. T. That's a this is sound T, which symbolizes that the sound has been produced with aspiration because of H sound T. And when T appears after S, it is produced as T. Important. When T appears after S, it pronounced T. You can see this difference for yourself. Put your hand to your mouth and produce the word stop. So then stop. So then top. When you produce top, you should feel a puff of air that does not occur with stop. When you say stop and when you say top, so that's a for top, that there will be puff, and when you say stop, no puff. So that's a puff of air that does not occur with stop. Good example. For more information on aspiration and how it is produced, see the phonetic section. Additionally, T can also be produced differently according to dialect. T. Many dialects of English have a glottal stop. That's a technical. Or in American dialects, the tap flap is produced R, which gives a production that resembles budder. Although these are different sounds as native speakers of a language, we could categorize all the allophones as being a single sound, the phoneme T. Another example that is found in English is L being produced as a clear L, right? CL, or in or a dark, that is dark, right? So that is this is the sound, and which realization occurs is result of allophonic rules. They never occur in the same place in the word. L is always at the start of the word, right? And this sound is always at the end of the word, right? Dark. So that's a word. They are also phonetically similar. They are both lateral approximates, therefore they are allophones in a single phoneme L. You can tell a difference between the first and the second L in the word, such as little or ladle. So this is the good example: little L and ladle L, right? So here ladle and little. So first L and second L position is different. Here in ladle, first L and second L position is different. That is allophone, because of allophone. In case of little and in case of ladle, in both the spellings, L is used twice in little and in ladle. But when you say first L li and then last little, that is free, and in same in la and dull again, that is different position. That is the study of phonology, and this is because of allophones, right? Now, minimal pair test, also known as contrastive pairs. So what's the a phoneme is defined as a single meaningful unit. What is single meaningful unit is called phoneme. Bat and bats, good example: bat and bats have two different meaning. This is due to one phoneme being different s, right? So here that is s is added, so that is two different meanings, right? This is due to one phoneme being different, because here one phoneme s is added, right? So we can clarify that s in is a phoneme, as when added on the end of the word it changes the meaning. Plural, it becomes plural from the singular noun to plural noun. Other example are lack and whack, seat, beat, cry, dry. As long as the phoneme changes the word's meaning semantically or grammatically, it is classed as phoneme. Either it is semantically changed or grammatically. For example, lack, whack, seat, beat, cry, dry, right? So these are the matter of phonemes. Now, phoneme sequence, syllable structure. You have to study syllable also. A syllable is a unit of phonological organization which is larger than the sound segment phoneme and smaller the word. This is larger than the word and smaller than the word, right? In the middle of the syllable there is only usually vowel, right? So in the middle of the syllable usually vowel is there, and then consonants arrange themselves around the vowel. So that is very important, that vowel in the middle, vowel in the middle and uh, vowel in the middle and consonants are around the vowel. Okay, now just like our brains have abstract rules that determine how sounds are combined, right? There is an abstract process called syllabification, right, which organizes sound segments into syllables. So that sound segments into syllable, I'm just giving example: examination, examination, right? So if you do phonetic transcription of this, so that will be like this: examination, examination. Sorry, yaar. Wait a minute. Examination. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This way there are 5 syllables. So that process is called syllabification, which organizes sound segments into syllables. So that is sound segments into syllables, right? Each syllable. This is sound segment, right? This is sound segment and this is syllable. Now, multi-tied phonological theory, that is how syllables are structured. The formal names for the parts of syllable are the onset and the rhyme, which contains nucleus and the coda. You should be familiar with all these terms. Nucleus and coda. The symbol to signify a syllable is O and a full word W, right? So that is syllable O and W, right? So that is uh, we are going to discuss. The nucleus is the central and compulsory component of syllable, very important, right? And is usually a vowel. So nucleus is usually a vowel. What is called nucleus? That's a vowel. However, the nucleus can also be a consonant. Sometime it can be consonant. This is called syllabic consonant, and in English this can occur with L and N in words such as saddle, right? So in saddle consonant, that's saddle button, which would be produced like S, saddle, right? So not saddle, saddle. So that's the sound of this word is, this is the sound saddle, and button, right? So this button will be pronounced as this button, right, respectively. So the nucleus can be non branching, a short vowel, or branching, a monophthong or diphthong, right? So that's a monophthong. So we have already studied that's a monophthong. Saddle, right? And button. So this will be the button, this is the button, button, and this is saddle. These are the phonetic transcription. Okay. Now the coda. What is coda? Coda is, sorry, coda is consonant which follows the nucleus and is the closing part of syllable. Codas can be absent such as P, non-branching, right? One consonant as in pin, or branching more than one consonant, that is drink, right? So pin or drink. If a syllable does not have a coda, it is called an open syllable. So again, coda is what? Coda is any consonant which follows the nucleus and is the closing part of the syllable. So coda is the closing part of the syllable. Codas can be absent such as P, non-branching, one consonant P. So if it P means that's a P. This is P, right? As in pin, or branching more than one consonant, as in drink. If the syllable does not have a coda, it is called open syllable. So this is, in this case, P is like this, P, right? But here, if we say pin, so that's a pin. So that is, coda is any consonant which follows the nucleus. So it is follows the nucleus I, that is nucleus, and is the closing part of the syllable, and is the closing part of the syllable. So that is something. Codas can be absent such as in P. So then there is no coda here, but no, non-branching, one consonant. As in pin, or branching more than one consonant, as in drink. So more than one consonant in drink means here drink. So that's a N and K, two consonant. Okay. So if a syllable does not have a coda, here this is called coda. But if does not have coda, so it is called open syllable. A syllable without a coda is a closed syllable, right? So if a syllable does not have a coda, so that is open syllable. A syllable with a coda, closed syllable. So coda means, actually you can see this way, that suppose a spelling in simplifying way I'm telling you, that's a word which ends with consonant is called open syllable, and the word which ends with sorry, the word which ends with vowel is open syllable, and the word which ends with consonant is closed syllable, because here coda is there. C for coda, for example, for understanding, which the word ends with consonant, that is coda or closed syllable, right? So that is there. The rhyme consists the nucleus and coda, so that we are going to understand rhyme, right? Now, the onset in any consonant which precedes the nucleus. Onset also you should know. Onset is any consonant, that is also consonant which precedes the nucleus. For example, here consonant, vowel, and consonant. So here pursued consonant which precedes the nucleus. So here which this is precedes the nucleus with the same syllable, like codas. Onsets can also be absent or non-branching. I'll give you example later on. Now, very important part, phonological process. What's the phonological process? First is assimilation. How phonological process is conducted? That is assimilation. Assimilation in is when one phoneme is pronounced in a way which is similar to nearby phoneme, and this can affect the place of articulation, manner of articulation, and voicing. There are two types of assimilation: progressive and regressive. Progressive is when phoneme affects the realization of the following phoneme. For example, it is can be realized as its, right? So that's its is realized as its, and phonetic phonetic transcription is its, it is, and where voice alveolar fricative don't study this much in detail, but that is regressive. That's a that is progressive, and that is regressive, in which phoneme affects the realization of preceding phoneme. For example, hot coffee, so can be realized as hot, no tea, actually hot coffee, hot coffee, okay, hot coffee, where the voiceless alveolar, that is again technical, but that is regressive, where one word is mingled up or disappeared in simple way. And here progressive assimilation, where uh, that's a it is, so that's a something new, word is born, new sound is born, that is progressive assimilation. Now dissimilation is the opposite of assimilation and occurs where a sound is becoming less similar to another sound. Less similar to another sound. In Latin word arbor, meaning tree, changing into arbol in Spanish, to avoid the two R sounds being in close contact. So that is dissimilation. Dissimilation is, assimilation is adding something, dissimilation is that is becoming less similar to another sound. For example, they have given. Now Collison. Colsons is also is when two two contiguous consonantal phonemes are replaced by a single phoneme which shares features of two original one. The common place this can occur is with affricate, for just uh, coalescence in is when two contiguous consonantal phonemes are replaced by a single phoneme. So you just don't have to remember much. I will simplify later on. Now, elision or deletion, as name, elision is when a sound is deleted in a sequence, and this is a strategy often used to remove unstressed vowel or avoid complex consonantal clusters. For example, police has undergone vowel deletion to be realized as police, right? So that's a please. So police is please. So that is the deletion or elision. Police is pronounced as please. So O is not there. Now lesion, that is also lesion occurs when a sound is inter inserted between two words. That is, sound is inserted between two words. Okay, for easier articulation, this usually happens when word 1 ends with a vowel and open sound, we can say, and word 2 begins with the vowel. For example, idea of or idea of, right? So that is idea of and idea of, this way. So that is lision means that is insertion between two words. So that's a insertion is idea of. So idea, when we speak idea of, so that there is r sound between idea and of, right? That is very natural when we speak. So that r is lesion, or that's a inserted between two words. That is r is inserted between idea and of. Okay, now inse- insertion or epenthesis. Epenthesis is insertion. Here deletion, we can say. That is, sorry, that's a lision is insertion of two insertion between two words, and here insertion an extra sound into the middle of the word. For example, hamster. So here that's a sound, hamster, but when we speak hamster, so then p is pronounced by our mouth. So that P is insertion. Another case, agency. So here that's a agency. So T is appeared here, agency. So this is called. Now, lenition or weakening. Lenition, weakening is when sound becomes weaker on the strength scale. Plosive, fricative, okay, forget it now because that's a technical. I'm not going to tell you. That is not and that is not required for graduation level. Now strengthening is the opposite of lenition and occurs when a sound becomes stronger on the matter of articulation. For example, German. So that is also example. Okay, so I think you must have got something here, and then that is very important for your exam purpose also. So thank you so much.